A desert planet with twin suns.
They call themselves the Bad Batch. We do what we do.
What else you got? Give me more!
Welcome back to Twin Sun Talks Regs. I'm your host, Jonah Liu, and it is time for another Bad Batch review and breakdown. I'm sorry that this is so very late, but, I was out of town again last week, and I was finishing up my summer job the last few days, so didn't quite find the time to record, but I'm getting it to you now. And yeah, let's just dive straight into I Have Spoken.
I have spoken.
So this is going to be my review for episode 15, Return to Camino. This is the second to last episode and the first episode of a two-part finale. But before I go into this review and breakdown, I just want to announce that last week it was announced that Bad Batch will be renewed for Season 2, coming in 2022. So that's super, super exciting. I've loved this show so far. It's had its rough patches where it's been a little stagnant, but I think that comes with any startup for any show. And so I'm super, super excited to see where they go moving forward. But for now, let's focus on this season. This is going to be a bit of a shorter episode, if I had to guess, because I'm trying to get through this and get more content out to y'all this week. But I just wanted to touch on a few things. First of all, I'm going to start out with my non-spoiler review, then we'll move into non-spoiler as usual. So, my non-spoiler review for episode 15 is this episode was absolutely fantastic. It was cinematic and emotional, and the perfect beginning to what's shaping up to be an amazing finale. Action, twists, and just all around a good time. I legitimately can't wait to see what happens in the last episode. It's about all I feel like I can say without giving away too much. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Don't listen if you haven't seen the most recent episode yet, because I don't want to spoil it for you. Spoiler. Let's dive in. So, as far as my breakdown, I'm going to be doing the same thing that I did last time, where I don't break down the entire episode in summary format. I'm just breaking down what I think is the most notable things. First of all, the music. Oh my gosh. It's pulled straight from the movies, and this is music from whenever Obi-Wan arrives on Camino, which is it's this eerie music, but it's super reminiscent, and it just made me go it was so nostalgic, and it was amazing. And just made my heart super, super happy, and I think that the music was absolutely fantastic throughout this entire episode, up until the very last scene with all the bombardment going on. Nala Se's chamber is super, super interesting to me, and I'm thinking that perhaps there are other clones like commandos that were bred in that chamber, or other clones like Palpatine's clone or something like that, where those are specialty clones that are made in that secret chamber, and I think that that'll play a big part moving forward, because I think that might be the only thing that remains from Topeka City after all of this is said and done, because as you know, if you're in the spoiler segment, it's pretty much gone. They're being bombarded by these Venator class Star Destroyers, and it's super sad, but super, super cool as well. And something about that bombardment that I want to point out is that it's clones that are firing those shots, and I think that Dave Filoni made a point to make that apparent, that clones are the ones that are enacting this bombardment of their home, and of the only place that a lot of them ever knew as a home. And I just think that that's so sad, especially given the line in episode 2 of Season 3, ARC Troopers, whenever it's revealed that Grievous is planning to attack Camino. Rex says, if anyone's going to come to our home, they better be carrying a big blaster. And guess what? The Empire carried a big, big blaster, and they absolutely blew it away. And then we also got Tarkin's iconic line, which is, "You may fire when ready," as we hear with when he's on the Death Star as well. And that was kind of eerie to me as well. Other than that, I just wanted to kind of clarify that TK troopers are, in fact, stormtroopers. These are very first generation stormtroopers. They have prototype armor that's not obviously the same as what we see in the movies. But TK troopers, we see, like, I'm pretty sure there's one in episode 4 that's TK 421. TK 421. So yeah, TK troopers are in fact stormtroopers. But I'm not entirely sure what TK stands for, because I know that CT or CC stands for either clone trooper or clone commander. Not entirely sure, but that's what I got there. And then Crosshair was the highlight of this episode, in my opinion. I thought that his dialogue was absolutely amazing. I thought that the reveal of him already having his chip out was not necessarily shocking, because I thought that might be a possibility, but just kind of like the realization of, like, this is just who I am. I'm acting on my own free will. And I've seen some things saying that maybe the Empire tricked him and told him that his chip was removed, but it wasn't really. That just doesn't make too much sense to me. But the whole line where it was like, essentially like Hunter saying, like, they're gonna know it's a trap. And Crosshair says something along the lines of, like, well, they don't leave their own behind, they being the Bad Batch. But he goes, most of the time. And Hunter says, you were trying to kill us, we didn't have a choice. Crosshair says, and I did. And I was just like, ooh, that's a fantastic line right there. There was a lot of those moments. And then the moments with the reflectors, ooh, it made me giddy. Giddy. And if you don't remember, we see him use those reflectors where he can reflect his blaster fire into multiple opponents. We see that in the 4th episode, that 4-episode arc that we first meet the Bad Batch in season 7 of the Clone Wars. And he takes out a bunch of droids with it. But so it's super cool to see those again, because we haven't seen him use those in this series yet. But other than that, I'm super intrigued by what's going to happen with his character moving forward. I'm glad that he's back with the Bad Batch. And I can't wait. As far as a spoiler review goes, there's not much to say that hasn't already been said. But I really can't wait to see what comes next. I'm so very excited. That being said, I have a few theories to go through, so let's hop into visions.
To continue, we need one singular vision. My vision.
Alrighty, as far as my theories moving forward go, I think that Crosshair's chip was removed after his altercation with the Bad Batch on Braca whenever he was really badly burned. I'm assuming that somehow it was necessary. Actually, I don't know. I think that if he was about to die, then they would have just let him die, because at this point they're not really in the business of saving clones. I really don't know why they would have removed his chip. Maybe it just wasn't working. But it doesn't make too much sense. I'm not entirely sure. But he does have that giant hole on the side of his head. But he also held his head, like, he kind of held it a little bit, kind of like Wrecker was at the beginning of the season. I don't really know what's going on. It's a weird time, but it's a little unclear. So I guess we'll just have to see. I think that they might escape through Nalase's lab, secret lab that they used to get into the city in the first place. I think that's what they're probably going to do to get out. And I think that there's probably more to that lab than meets the eye. I'm guessing that there's going to be more significance to that lab moving forward. I'm still holding out hope that we'll see a Jedi and or Vader, hopefully both, but I would prefer to see a Jedi survivor of Order 66, one that we haven't seen necessarily confirmed in canon, in the next episode. Possibly Quinlan Voss. I think that he would mesh really well with this particular group of clones, and I think that that'd be super cool to see. I'm thinking that Rex and at least Gregor, maybe Commander Wolf, will show up in the next episode. I'm super excited that. Hopefully we see more of Hauser as well. And looking forward to Season 2, I'm thinking that Delta Squad could be the villain. So that's the squad of commandos that we saw one of the members of in episode 14. I'm thinking that they might be the villains, where it's kind of like pitting against, okay, who's more effective, commandos or the Bad Batch? And either that or possibly alongside them or just independently, Commander Cody could also be another villain that I think would be super, super cool. So, or we could also see Admiral Thrawn. Who knows? But, and I think that at the end of the day, the Bad Batch is going to join Saw Gerrera's Rebel Cell. And I think that's going to be kind of a full circle moment for them. Because I think that they fit that bill a bit better than like Bail Organa's group of rebels that Rex ends up joining. And I think that they're going to want to stick it to the Empire a little more aggressively. So they're going to want to align themselves with Gerrera for that reason. All that said, I'm really, really excited to see what happens this Friday. Sorry this is so late, but better late than never. Glad I got to get this out to y'all. Stay tuned tomorrow, Wednesday, the 11th, for my... I'm going to have an episode about Star Wars conspiracy theories, which I think is going to be super, super fun. So I hope y'all enjoy that. Stay tuned for that. It's going to be coming out not too long, because I'm probably going to get this out like barely before it is the 11th. So, well, if this is released after midnight, then I apologize, because then it is the 11th. But we're recording this very late. Hopefully I get it out on today, August 10th. But if not, oh well, I'm not a professional. So, you've taken your first steps into a larger world. May the Force be with you, and I will see y'all in the next episode. Bye, friends.